Hello, this time we're going to show you something that gives a lot of people grief, but when you know how to do it, it's actually really easy. And that is to use alphabet cutters and to get the fondant out cleanly. We'll cover two things in this demonstration. The first is how to add Tylose or CMC, which is an icing hardener, to your fondant, and then we'll show you how to then use that fondant that has Tylose in it to help with your alphabet cutters. So Tylose or CMC, it's pretty much the same thing, you'll hear them used interchangeably. It's just a powder, it's a hardener, it's a similar product to what you find in gum paste. So by using it, we're able to turn our fondant into something more like gum paste. So you just want to sprinkle some Tylose or CMC in the fondant, try and keep it in the centre, and just knead that through. What we're essentially looking for is for our fondant to hold its shape better. It'll get less sticky and it will firm up and give some resistance. Okay. So we want a little bit more. It's quite warm today, so on a cooler day or with fondant that has less colour in it or a different brand of fondant, you might need more or less. So it's really good to learn how to do this by feel. So knead that through. Keep kneading it through until you feel it start to change. You can do this in advance, you just put a little bit less in because it would start to firm up very quickly, but never too far in advance. Generally you just put CMC or Tylose into the fondant you're working with at the time. So I'm going to go one more little sprinkle there. Okay, because I've got quite sticky fondant today. Try not to knead your fondant on corn flour, try to just knead it in your hands or on the bench. We don't want to add any more dryness in the form of corn flour to it. Okay, so that's starting to resist really well. Now if I was doing some kind of figurine or a simple flower, that's probably where I would stop. I'd be happy that I could roll a sphere. So roll a ball shape. If you can roll a ball shape and it doesn't flatten off at the bottom within about, I don't know, 20 or 30 seconds, then you've got enough Tylose. So that's looking pretty good, it's holding its shape really well. So if I was modelling, that's where I'd stop. But today I am going to show you how to use the letters, so I'll put a bit more in. We'll Tylose it up. So another sprinkle, and this time we want it really firm. The letters will come out far easier the firmer the fondant is. You can go too far. If you go too far with Tylose or CMC, it will go really crumbly and become unusable. If that happens, just mix some fresh fondant back into it and you'll save it. Okay, so that's definitely firm and definitely ready. So keep mixing it through until you can't see any marbling from the CMC. Just going to sprinkle some corn flour because we're ready to roll out. So for the alphabet cutters, we want to start with the shape we want to finish with. We're looking for a long shape. So on the corn flour, and roll that out very thin. So much thinner than you would for anything else. Maybe for ruffles is the only other time you'd go this thin. You can do this with a pasta roller if you prefer. Okay, so I'm just going to get rid of that bit. And that's pretty thin, but I'm just going to go a little bit further. Okay, so just take a knife And just cut those strips into letter size pieces. So just check that they're the right size for your alphabet cutters. I've got a few different types here today, so I'm pretty happy that they're all okay. So cut those. Okay, now ideally you'd leave those for about 5 minutes. Walk away, grab a coffee, whatnot, and then come back and they'll have dried off really nicely. So these ones are called tappets, and there's a reason that they're called tappets because that's how you get them out. So if I wanted this bee, for example, I would put it over the fondant, press down, turn that over, take away the excess fondant, including the inside of the bee, bring it over to the side of the bench, and I'm going to tap it. And there's my bee, looking lovely. So that's the tappets. The click sticks have a plunger, so you're able to push the letter out. So if I wanted a K, same again, put it over, turn it over, get rid of your excess fondant, and in this case you don't need to tap it, you can just push it out and you've got your letter. So that's click sticks and tappets. And if you were using just a normal cookie cutter, just a, either the steel or the plastic ones, you'd roll a little bit thicker. So just a bit thicker, I like mine around the 3mm size. Just get some corn flour on there. Okay. So again, press down, give it a shake, turn it over, get rid of the excess. By rubbing your hand over there, you get rid of any jagged bits. This time, for the cookie cutters, I use a little tool, which is this end's a boning tool, to get the fondant out. You'll find this in most kits. Most fondant tool kits will have this tool in them. And there we go. There's our number 2. So that's how to use Tylose and alphabet cutters.